What if I told you that one of the greatest crimes against humanity happened just over a century ago? And yet, most of the world has chosen to forget. A systematic slaughter, a campaign of extermination, a silence that still echoes today. This is the story of the Armenian Genocide, often called the Forgotten Holocaust. But why is it forgotten? And who wanted it erased from history? At the dawn of the 20th century, Armenians were a Christian minority living within the Ottoman Empire. For centuries, they coexisted uneasily, but suspicion and resentment grew. As the empire weakened, Armenians were scapegoated, accused of betrayal, of siding with the enemy, of being an obstacle to the dream of a unified Turkish state. On April 24, 1915, hundreds of Armenian intellectuals, priests, and community leaders were rounded up in Constantinople. They were deported, imprisoned, or executed. This night marked the beginning of a campaign that was not random violence, but a calculated attempt to erase an entire people. Families were torn from their homes and forced into endless marches across the Syrian desert. Men were executed by firing squads. Women, children, and the elderly collapsed from hunger, thirst, and exhaustion under the burning sun. These were not deportations. They were death marches designed to ensure that few would survive. Eyewitnesses spoke of villages wiped out, children orphaned, and entire communities erased. Missionaries, diplomats, and survivors tried to sound the alarm, but the world, already engulfed in the chaos of World War I, largely turned its gaze away. The silence of nations allowed the killing to continue. By the time the horror slowed, an estimated 15 million Armenians were dead, an ancient culture shattered, countless families destroyed. And yet, unlike other genocides that shook the world, this one was pushed into the shadows, denied, ignored, forgotten. Even today, debate and denial cloud the memory of this tragedy. Some call it politics, others call it fear. But for the descendants of survivors, it is not history. It is a wound that never healed. A genocide without acknowledgement is a genocide without closure. Adolf Hitler, before launching his own campaign of extermination, once asked, "Who, after all, speaks today of the annihilation of the Armenians?" The silence of the world became a blueprint for future horrors. Forgetting genocide only ensures that it can happen again. The Armenian Genocide is not just about the past. It is a warning for the present. When truth is buried, when crimes are denied, when silence replaces justice, humanity itself is in danger. To remember is to resist. To speak is to honor the victims. And to acknowledge is to ensure that such darkness never rises again.